Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. That was a long 11 days, but some absolutely fantastic teaching by Sister Bev about women in ministry. Please, again, make copies of it. If you didn't get to download some of it because of the typhoon and everything, go back, get copies of it, and keep it on file in your computer to remind yourself from time to time about some very important truths about women in ministry. Tonight, back in services, we're in Philadelphia as we continue revival nights. I'll be teaching you some beautiful truths about the attack of those that claim and an incredible church called Philadelphia and Jesus' promise to coming to them. It's a great study. We'll look forward to seeing you tonight. Right now, I want us to go to the book of Romans chapter 6. Romans chapter 6, beginning with verse 15. Yesterday, I began to talk to you about how grace is not a license for sin because we've been set free from sin. Paul continues that subject in verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under law but under grace? By no means. There are so many people that teach today that how you live your life is irrelevant, that there are no rules because we're under grace. Well, I think Paul would disagree with that very strongly, and he was the one who teaches us most of the teaching on grace. He teaches us that there are rules that we live by. No, we don't go on sinning because we're not under the law. We don't go on sinning because we're under grace. He continues in verse 16, don't you know that when you offer yourself to someone to obey him as slaves, you are slaves to the one you obey, whether you are slaves to sin, which leads to death, or to obedience, which leads to righteousness. So he's saying, hey, listen, we believe that we're under grace, but what do you offer yourself to? Grace has set us free. Now, what are you going to do with your freedom? Now, this is the whole central truth I want you to see today. Grace has set us free from the power of sin. Now, what do you do with that freedom? Paul here in the rest of chapter 6 teaches us that there are two choices that we make. We can offer ourselves to sin, or we can offer ourselves to God. He said, now listen, you've been set free from sin and have become slaves to righteousness in verse 18. But in verse 19 he said, but I put this in human terms because you're weak in your natural selves. Just as you used to offer the parts of your body in slavery to impurity and to ever-increasing wickedness. Have you ever noticed you're never satisfied with one level of sin? You always want more. Ever-increasing wickedness. Now there's the truth in itself. Sin always is on the increase in your life. So now offer them to slavery, in slavery to righteousness, leading to holiness. Now, all I want you to see from this truth today is grace has set us free from the power of sin. Now, do I offer myself back to sin to become a slave? Or do I offer myself to God? Do I offer myself to righteousness? Do I offer myself to holy living? The choice is ours. Grace has set us free. Now, will I be a slave to righteousness, or will I be a slave to sin? Let me close with this part. Verse 22. But now that you have been set free from sin and have become slaves to God, the benefit you reap leads to holiness, and the result is eternal life. And the result is eternal life. Not buhay ng walang hanggang. Eternal life is experiential knowledge of God and experiential knowledge of Jesus. That's what Jesus teaches us in his high priestly prayer in the book of John. Now this is eternal life, that they may know you, know by experience you, and know by experience the Son you have sent. Beautiful, beautiful truths here. Do you want to be a slave to sin and get to know sin? Or do you want to be a slave to God and get to know God better by experience? Who do you offer yourself to? Grace has set you free. Now, do you offer yourself to be a slave to sin, or do you offer yourself to be a slave to God?